Wow. Piotrek, Claude really got me this time.
I think it perfectly captured your soul.
Yeah, my soul. I hope it hasn't been reading my diaries. Hi, hello, and welcome to the third episode of Work Ally Tech Talk. My name is Magda Kufrej. I am a career coach, and here is my friend Piotr Korgól, AI engineer and VP at the climate tech startup. And we're here to help you understand how you can use AI for your job search. So, Piotr, how are you doing today?
Doing good. It's a bit hot, but doing good.
It is still better than what we had here last time. We tried and failed to record this episode. So Piotr, would you like to tell us a little bit more about the adventure we went through?
So last time when we tried recording this episode, unfortunately, Claude wouldn't cooperate.
In the biggest heat wave, by the way.
The biggest heat wave would not cooperate with Google Drive.
What did we learn from that?
Well, we learned from that as of that day, it wasn't really possible to complete what we were trying to achieve within the amount of time we had for that. So the other option, the better option we found, is we can do this with local files.
Local files, local drive. So if you followed us in a previous episode, we created a folder that you can use to collaborate with Claude. It is a local drive on your desktop. And that's what we're going to work with today. And Piotrek, I wanted to show you because I added 2 new files to that folder that we talked about. So let's have a look here. And first of all, you're going to see that now I added a docs file, which is 2-column template resume. This is the resume template that I would like you, Claude, to use to create my resumes in the future. And I also added a new subfolder, which is called job offers. And as you can see, there is one markdown file with a job offer I'm interested in. So that's what we're going to play with today.
Perfect. That's a good start.
Okay, Piotrek, what should we start with? What is the most important thing for our audience to know today to be able to create that job application task with AI?
For that task, what is the most important thing is we're going to leverage Claude Cowork. We're not going to be using the chat feature. We're going to be using the agent.
Okay, so Claude Cowork is an agentic function. Can you tell us a little bit more? What does it mean and why is it so useful for us?
The usefulness comes from the fact that we are giving it access to a specific folder. It can run commands. It can read files, write files. So it's like an assistant that you can imagine is sitting at your laptop and is doing the actual work.
In that folder that you created.
Yes.
Okay, 2 important things with Claude Cowork. First of all, you need to have a paid subscription, which is around $20 a month. And also, it is preferable that you download a desktop version because that's the easiest way for us to work with Claude Cowork. Okay, Piotrek, so now what do we do with Claude Cowork?
So in Claude Cowork, we can create projects which are self-contained, organized areas that we work on.
Like job search.
Like job search, for example. So we're going to start by doing that. In the Claude desktop application, we go to the Cowork tab, and we have a button to create a new project. And within that option, we use an existing folder. We pick our folder where we have all the files prepared. And then once we have the project, we can start our actual work. We just need to make sure that we are using the Opus 4.8 model, which is the most state-of-the-art as of our recording.
So in the future, if Fable maybe becomes available to us, maybe some of you know what happened there. We're not going to go into details, but you want to use for that project the most advanced model that is available, which as of today is Opus 4.8, but we're hoping for Fable and maybe even something else in the future. So make sure that you change that to the most recent model. What's next?
So we have our prompt ready.
Would you like to run us through that prompt?
Yes. In general, the inputs, what we want to achieve, and any constraints or limitations on the work that we're trying to go for. We start by asking Claude Cowork to read through the master resume.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that the name of the master resume is in blue. This is
Indeed.
actually a link. So it works just like mentions with the @ sign. We can call out any file in the folder or a folder within that folder as well.
Okay, that we shared with Claude.
That we shared with
Perfect.
Claude.
So we can tag it. I love that.
Yes. The second one is read my writing style guide, which is the MD file we prepared in the previous episode. Then we ask it to read through all the information in portfolio and successes.
Mm-hmm.
And the next step is we ask it to use all that information it read so far to go through each job offer in the job offers folder and prepare a tailor-made resume and cover letter for that specific job offer.
Because for now, there's just one job
now
offer
it's just
in the folder.
Exactly. It's just one, but that's the instruction. And then for resumes, we're saying use the 2-column template
Yes.
that we have provided
Mm-hmm.
and make sure.
Yes, there are also some basic constraints that is important for us because Claude does not have this background information. So this is just very simple. Make the application ATS compliant. Resume should not be longer than 2 pages. Cover letter not longer than 3/3 of the pages. The profile summary in your resume, let's start with 5 sentences and let's see how it's going to look like. And also very important for Claude to know that it needs to adapt that application for a specific country in which you're applying. If you're applying in Germany or in Canada, it's going to be very, very different. So Claude also needs to make sure that the application prepared is in the right format for that specific culture in which we're making the application. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with it now.
I think we can start it.
Let's do it and see what happens.
While Claude is working, you're going to get, from time to time, text sent from it. This could be either thinking or after it's completed one of the subtasks, like reading a file, etc., which shows you what is actually going on, gives you some insight also into how it's working.
Okay, so it gives you insight of how Claude thinks.
Yes, you can understand exactly how he approaches the problem. Them. From that, you can also be able to stop and help it guide in the right direction if it actually veers off course.
Okay, but we're not going to do it here. We're just going to wait, and it is already taking quite some time until we see the final result.
Okay, it's been a total of 15 minutes, and we already get the initial results.
Okay, well, that's great. And that also means that don't worry if Claude takes its time to create the files for you. Just go do some push-ups or, like a meditation or a cup of coffee, tea, and come back when Claude is ready. Let's have a look and see what did Claude prepare for us. So first the resume, and I see that, of course, there are some things that I could change, but I like that it's already in this 2-column template. That itself saved me probably at least an hour of copying it in all the right places. But when I read it, and especially when I read the cover letter, I'm thinking, no, Claude, you're not close. It doesn't sound like me. It still sounds generic. Like, I don't really like it. So, Piotr, what am I supposed to do with it now?
This is the time where the human needs to step into the loop, and we need to perform verification, improvements, but you shouldn't do them yourself manually. It's better to guide Claude to perform those fixes.
So what you're saying is I should not be editing the text in the cover letter and resume, but I should be telling Claude, as if it was my intern or an assistant, of how I would prefer it to make those drafts, those proposals in the future, by providing feedback and waiting for Claude to get it right.
Yes, that would be the preferable way to interact with it.
Okay, let's go for it then, and let me tell Claude what I think. Claude, I hope you're ready for it. Okay, Piotrek, that was a very long conversation. I think it took 50 minutes for me to talk with Claude, and I asked it again and again in this conversation to use or not use certain words, to shorten the profile description in my resume, to look more into the job offer to even, like highlight some bullet points that are relevant in my resume even more and really use those words. So it did take quite some time, but now I think that I am nearly ready to do the final edits by myself in the file. Like, I already talked for a very long time with Claude. Is that something that I can do? And can we use it for Claude to still learn from it?
Yes, there are ways for you to make the changes, and then we just can let Claude know that we've actually changed something, but we want it to read the new version and understand why some changes have happened.
Okay, so let's do it. I'm still gonna do a few changes here and there. And here it is. I made changes directly in those files that Claude created, so the cover letter and resume that it prepared for me, the first draft. And now, Piotr, what do we do next to make sure it remembers it?
So now we have a prompt that we prepared, which highlights what actually happened. I manually updated the files. Please read my updated versions. Based on my changes and our exchange, update the cover letter style guide MD file.
Okay, so all the feedback will be gathered, collected by Claude in that document it will be using in the future anyway.
Yes, exactly. We're trying to preserve those changes and want Claude to understand, or rather summarize, and then access that knowledge in the future.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, Piotr, I also noticed that when we're writing this prompt, it became impossible to tag the files and folders, even though we recommended that before. It's a bug in the system, so if that happens to any of you, what can they do?
So that's why we called out the cover letter style guide by name, and it will understand what we mean by that.
Okay, let's see. Now that we created all that, I just wonder, Piotr, I spent so much time, 15 minutes just talking to Claude, another 15 minutes editing the text. That's a lot of time to create feedback loop for Claude. How can we make sure that this is an investment of my time and that Claude in the future is going to learn and improve those resumes and cover letters?
To do that, we need to look into skills.
Skills. Tell me more. I like that.
Skills are like reusable pieces of intelligence written as text, and Claude has access anytime he needs to do something. So these could be specific skills like we have for job search. Could be for any other reusable scenario you can think of.
Okay. So for me, it sounds like those talents, experience, things that we did with Claude, like we consolidated into a skill and it gets its badge from now on. I'm skilled in a thing A or B or C, and I know exactly how to do it, and I'll be doing it like that in the future because you gave me all this feedback. Am I getting it right?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. So it's like an adventure game and collecting all those new skills for Claude. Amazing. So how do we create that skill?
It's very simple. We just write a prompt. And in the prompt, we call out directly, now create a skill to write resumes and cover letters for future job descriptions I will share with you.
Okay. And Claude knows exactly what to do with that because it's its own format for writing the skill.
Yes, the concept of a skill, it understands that. It has instructions for creating skills. So it's best to have a long discussion, prepare it to do something repeatable, and then ask it to create a skill out of this in the end.
Just like we did. Okay.
Just like we did.
Let's see what Claude created in that skill and what are we going to do with this next.
So Claude created the skill. It's already installed, ready to use. We should test it out.
Okay. I would like to test it by asking Claude now to create many more applications for me because I'm done with doing one application at the time. I want to have 5, 10, 20 assistants at the time. So Piotrek, let me show you what in the meantime I added to the job search folder, and specifically in the job offer subfolder, I added 4 more MD files with job descriptions I'm interested in. Are we now making it happen so I can have 4 interns at the same time working for me?
Yes.
But Is there any but?
No buts about it.
Yes. Loving it.
We can prepare this prompt.
Uh-huh.
Now I added new job descriptions to the job offers folder. Use this skill to create a resume and cover letter for each.
Okay. And we're leaving Claude with this task while we're going to go for 10 minutes of ping pong. And when we come back, we hope to see those job applications done, and this time much closer to what I wanted it to be. So Claude, please don't disappoint me this time. So this is interesting because as Claude is going through job descriptions I gave it, it also found that in one of those job descriptions, fluent Japanese is a requirement, and I unfortunately, as of today, do not speak Japanese yet. So Claude is asking me specifically if it should skip this application or not, and I like that. Yes, skip it. I'm not going to learn Japanese tomorrow, but that also shows me that it is thinking critically in the background and not just, being a typical yes man and writing me an application for a job where I don't have basic requirements.
Yes, it can think and do way more than actually asked about it. If it identifies that within the context of job search, your skills are lacking for that specific job description, it won't automatically prepare a resume and cover letter. It'll instead ask, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this?
So Claude can ask additional questions in the process, and that can actually also be super useful to collaborate together. Okay, so let's see now what it produced. And I see clearly that we have a resume and a cover letter for each of those job descriptions that I provided, each of them in a separate folder. Let me have a look at just one of those cover letters just to see how good they are now. And as I look at it, I am quite impressed. Not only this is a much better format for recruiters to understand how I could fit, but it also picked the right examples, and it is very much like me. Wow. Piotrek, Claude really got me this time.
I think it perfectly captured your soul.
Yeah, my soul. I hope it hasn't been reading my diaries. Okay, wonderful. So, Piotrek, this is great. This is super useful. If I could ask you now to quickly sum up the most important things that our audience should remember from today, what would that be?
Use the agent. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Set up a project for a specific task that you're doing. I guess that's the most important part, the transition from chat to agentic. Second thing I would say is work from a local drive and connect your agent in the project to that specific drive. The third, and I guess the most important one, I would say, is the skills. So using the skills, discussing with Claude, anytime you have some repeatable work done, ask it to create a skill and build your skills library as you work with it.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. One more piece of advice that comes from me is don't worry if you fail, if things are not working exactly the way they should be working. This is how it goes. We need to experiment, we have to learn, and we have to find our ways for working efficiently with Claude. So good luck with that. And now the final thing for today, which is what are we gonna to do in our next episode? Piotrek, what will be covering next time?
Well, so far we've reached a point where we can give Claude a list of job descriptions and manually trigger this. In the next episode, we're going to shift this into automating this. So every day at a specific time, this process runs automatically, and any job descriptions since the last time that the run happened are going to automatically get the resumes and the cover letters prepared.
Okay, so we're going to be saving even more time and making return on this investment today. Thank you so much for having us. Piotrek, thanks for today, and I see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everyone. Great to be here.